Team USA wins gold. You decide how much you want to be like language police on this. The headline at CBS Sports, no miracle needed. USA hockey finally passes Canada.
I did see.
Do not agree really there.
Yeah.
It did feel like a bit of a miracle in goal, and that they've passed Canada easy. Like, we won the gold. That was great. It's an incredible accomplishment. They don't have anything to apologize for. Like, let's ease off. Like, we've passed them. Is that fair?
Right.
Like I said, be the language.
There was, by the way, there was an Adidas ad, no miracles needed, with Hughes scoring the goal, but that felt like maybe that was predetermined.
Sure. I get it. It's not a miracle that they beat Canada. It felt a little bit like a miracle that they won that game because of some bounces and because of Hellebuck being so incredible. I'm not taking anything away, and I'm thrilled they won, and it's a tremendous accomplishment. But, like, any idea that this horse race is like, oh, all right, well, passed them. That's that. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that I feel like I can't really argue that point this morning.
You wanted to.
Because for years I felt like it's been true.
Right. If they just beat them in regulation 3-1 and Hellebuck made 32 saves, you could say it. Whatever.
Here's really the better argument that I would make right now, that I would not say that they've passed them, but that maybe they've evened it up, is that in the last calendar year, these two teams have played 3 games against each other, 2 at the Four Nations, 1 at the Olympics, and all 3 were 1-goal hockey games, and 2 of them went to overtime.
Yeah.
That would be my better evidence to say, all right, this is on par. They played 3 times, every game was close. And this was the only one, really, where one team like widely outshot the other, but that team's got the better goaltender. And that's where I would say no miracles needed doesn't hold up the same way. I mean, it's not Jim Craig. Jim Craig stands on his head in 1980. It's a miracle because he's a college goaltender. This is the defending NHL MVP that you had that performance. It shouldn't be seen as a miracle. He does this. He just hasn't done it in a big moment like that yet. But he does it all the time. So, I wouldn't sit here today and tell you USA has passed Canada. They are the better hockey nation. But I got 3 games in a year where every game was close and the U.S. won 2 of them.
And you've got moments along the way to talk about, like, if you want to say evening up or the gap closing, that goes all the way back to, hey, an American skater got taken number 1 overall for the first time in X number of years. And then it's like, 3 of the top 7 are American skaters. You know, like these small touchstones along the way to indicate that you are, in fact, closing gaps. How about just the sheer numbers of, and this was something pointed out, that the last time the NHLers went to the Olympics, Canadians made up, was it like 70% of the NHL? And now that number is 42%. And that's credit
huge
to
drop.
The international as well.
Like European.
Yes, of course. Like, it's not as much a Canadian-dominated sport as it used to be. I still consider it like a Canadian sport. And, you know, Americans play it. We've seen it grow in Florida and grow in California and Arizona. I mean, Tage Thompson and Austin Matthews. You know,
the Hughes brothers are from Orlando.
Right. Son of a Solar Bears assistant or something like that. Sure. Like, so, yeah, there are little spots along the way where you say, like, this gap is definitely closed. And to have taken them down in a gold medal game for the first time in the last 3 matchups, they played Canada in Vancouver. They played them in Salt Lake, and they lost both those.
Yep.
I was looking for the Ryder Cup joke. Like, hey, the Americans finally won on foreign soil. Let's go take the Ryder Cup next. We never win there.
There's also some, like the World Juniors have been, USA's been dominating.
They've won more recently.
Yeah. Won, I think it's 3 in a row now. They're winning those
Somebody in 2014 or something said, boy, I got to find this tweet. It was really incredible how, hey, 2026, watch out. American hockey, like U.S. hockey, registered 100,000 kids for the first time ever.
Yep.
Like, this is like in 20 years, like, get ready for this because they're going to be better than ever. And was it the best American team ever iced? Arguably, yes. Probably, yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. It was probably also Canada's best team ever.
It was,
I want to take a moment here to compliment Canada because I watched a lot of their games, and, of course, like many of you did. Watching when they start to really roll, this was Canada in the second period. This was Canada closing out against Finland. There is, I think, a different level of cohesion there. They have more cohesion. do they play together more? Do they just work together more? Whatever it is.
Who in Canada?
Yeah. When Canada gets its top unit going, this is power play. You could say it's a lot of skill. You could say it's a lot of things. Maybe it's Makar who does a lot of this. They look like some AI version of complete perfection playing the game, and I can't. Cooper actually said this about the way they played in the game against the Americans. This is the best game we played ever, and we lost. That's how it's going to go. They at times look like they're so perfect, you don't even know what you're supposed to do against them.
I think that could be seen as chemistry, and you could even say it because there were 3 Colorado Avalanche on the ice at the same time.
That's a part of it. Like the fact that McKinnon and Makar are on the same NHL team
and
seems absolutely unfair. That they're on the same team.
I think, though, that while that might look like chemistry, that is just if you put McKinnon and McDavid on the ice at the same time, it's gonna look like that.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't been. He says that was our best game for that all tournament. Those two had not played together all tournament except for like very ends of period, power play, and then like late in games. Like they were not playing on a regular line together. And yesterday, I think until like midway through the third period, they went into the game saying McKinnon and McDavid are playing together. Like this whole game.
Yeah.
And that's going to do that.
Quickly, I want to get to Hellebuck here in a minute because anyone's saying like, oh, well, Canada was better, but if only for, Hellebuck, it would have been different.
Develop some goalies, man.
I was just going to say just this.
Like some top 10 goalies in the world.
Isn't Hellebuck just McDavid, but in a different position?
That's the exact point I've been sitting here like waiting to get off.
Like you guys have McDavid.
Right. If McDavid goes out and scores a hat trick and gets 3 assists, nobody's going like, well, if it wasn't for McDavid. Like, yeah, obviously. That's your best player. And Hellebuck was the U.S.'s best player yesterday and did everything necessary to earn them a win. And regardless of how upsetting that may be to all of you Canadian fans that think you got jobbed because there's a position on the ice that can change the game, I'm sorry, but that's part of the game. You've got to have a guy that can do that for you once in a while. And because we had a guy that could do it better than your guy, you lost. That's the game. I got J.D. Bunkus saying Americans can't celebrate the win.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry Jordan Binnington's your best shot and he can't make a save in the NHL, but we got a guy that dominated you. Get a guy that can dominate. You have Connor McDavid. He couldn't score.
He dominates, though. And, like, if he dominates, it counts.
Right.
But if Hellebuck dominates, it doesn't count.
Nobody makes this point about, like, oh, we got forwarded.
Right.
Like, what does that mean? You got beat is what you did. You got beat. Right. Sorry. It's just the game, man.
Put it on a shirt. We got forwarded.
Right.
Like, I love it. Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense. I played that position for so long, and for that whole time, your whole existence is to play and win a game like that. That's the job. That's the pinnacle of what you can do as a goaltender. So do not tell me that it shouldn't count or that it doesn't mean as much because that guy did it. He did it. He's on the team. He's on the ice for longer than anybody else. So deal with it. He beat you.
Yeah. There was a lot written, too, about, like, this was actually before the tournament, how Hockey Canada has been efforting to get more kids in Canada to play goalie because their numbers have dropped significantly to the point where the story I read, which I'm rereading now very quickly, like since 2017, Hockey Canada's been sending representatives to Sweden and Finland to observe their system because they can't get kids to play goalie for some, like, and they want to play forward, right? And like it's now you're seeing it represented a little bit on the NHL ice. So like that's kind of a lot of the stories you're going to hear told about the U.S. in the coming weeks about how they caught up is how much USA Hockey has grown the game to get more and more kids to play the sport, and those kids are now on the team, right? Like they're all in their 20s. These are the kids that 15 years ago they got to play. And I think on the other end, you would make the same points for a negative context about Canada. Like this is your consequence of not as many kids want to play goalie in your country. Yep. So fix that. And then maybe in 10 years, you'll have your own Connor Hellebuck, which you haven't really had in Canada since what? Marty Brodeur retired?
Right. Price was
Price was amazing.
Well, I mean, like, but
it's not in large numbers.
No.
Without trying to go too far into, like, I don't know, some sort of sociological study here, I'll just go with, like, the minds of kids. Is it as simple as, my country produces the McDavids and the McKinnons, and I want to be McDavid or McKinnon.
Right.
Versus, should the next generation of U.S. hockey? I mean, you're going to have your Eichels and your McDavids your Eichels and your Matthews, but how many kids are going to have watched that and been like, maybe I'll try goal? A Hellebuck guy was a hero.
100%. And people will see him do that, and us talk about him, and even as simple as they'll see the bass on his helmet and go, like, that's pretty cool that you can have stuff on your helmet.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. You just need people to be interested in the position. I fell into it. I was a defenseman until I was 12.
Yeah.
And, like, my house team needed a guy. So, like, it's a problem everywhere. It's a very easy answer to why nobody wants to play goal. You don't get to score. It's the coolest thing you can do. You can't do.
And it's expensive.
I
don't even know who's on their radar for the next Olympics. Like, do they have an up-and-coming...
In goal?
They've got a couple of guys. Carter George was there, I think, their World Junior kid last year.
But, like, guys that aren't in the league yet,
but,
right?
I mean, Levi's. Like, that's where they're at.
Well, speaking of the next Olympics, Joe, you were making the case, is Owen Power going to be on that team?
I think he is... I wouldn't say definitely, but I think he's got a really good shot. Doughty is coming out for the next Olympics. He'll be in his 40s. I think Colton Parayko is coming out. I don't think he had a good tournament, and he'll be in his 36 maybe by that point.
Right.
You could argue that Morrissey, who will be in his mid-30s, and Sanheim, who will be in his mid-30s, come out. Like, that's 4 changes, I think, that are likely, 2 minimum. And find me a Canadian defenseman not named Matthew Schaefer, who went number 1 overall last year, that has to go in over Owen Power. Like, it's not a deep list. Like, Jacob Chikrin at 33 years old. Like, there's not... Like, that's kind of what he might be competing with. Brant Clark, like, guys that haven't really developed yet in the NHL. Like, Power's got a great look at Team Canada in 4 years. Which, by the way, if he does that and he's still on the team, he'd be the first Sabre to ever represent Team Canada in Olympics. Like, I think he's got to look at it.
803-0550 and 1-888-552-550. All things hockey here on a Victory Monday. We're calling it a Victory Monday. I can't believe it took this long to do it. Victory Monday. The U.S. wins gold in overtime on Jack Hughes' Golden Goal. If you're on hold, we'll get to your calls on the other side. 803-0550 here on WGR.